enjoy the show, play on Perjangers.
And I got the dubious honor of doing the videography and editing for his music video, Big Dreams. And Frank, you've known me for about 4 years. One of the things I've always posted on my Facebook randomly was a phrase, big dreams, big things. I did the videography, getting into the editing. Hey, man, what's this song called? Big Dreams. And I was like, oh, that was the universe just saying this had to happen.
Yeah. It always finds a way to make itself happen.
And this was obviously a big dream for you, having your own album. And I've listened to the album. I absolutely love it. It's available on Spotify. And there's a bunch of songs in there that I was instantly like, oh, this is an instant hit that you want to have in your playlist.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Because there's a lot of thought into the way you do the sound, and we will definitely be premiering your music video in this podcast. But especially Big Dreams, your lyrics are one part of the song, but it's the horns, the congas, the keyboard, the drums, the bass, all of it just combines into this like amalgamation of just a brilliant original kind of sound. That's one of the things that really made Dave Matthews popular was that nobody had a sound like that. He used horns and, violin and drums. And what is this guy doing? There's that kind of like that kind of like brilliance in that song to where you just have all these instruments involved in just making, highlighting the words that you're rapping and that you're singing. And first off, the dual languages in the song was a nice touch.
Thanks. That was a fun one.
It was fun for me trying to match up the words too.
Yeah. Do you speak any Spanish?
I don't. I took 1 year in middle school, and my teacher said that was enough.
Yeah. No, that song was really fun. It was, like you said, like all of the parts to it have like meaning, and like sometimes like to most of the people like just listening to the song, the lyrics is you're like soaking in the lyrics and that's the meaning that you get. But behind the scenes, like even to me personally, there's so much like happening, like even in the instrumental that has like so much meaning kind of like packed into it. Like the conga player is my dad. It's been a dream of mine to have my dad on a song, and for a long time. And it was just incredible how smoothly that came together. So like the fact that was him playing the congas on a professor, like on one of my songs, like that was a super big deal. And to people that don't know me, wouldn't know that's my dad. They would just say, oh, that's just part of the song. And it was cool. But that has meaning right before the congas come in, that heartbeat sound, like that's my son's heartbeat. Like when my boy is 9 months old now. And when we were doing the ultrasounds, I voice recorded when she was putting the, I don't know, it's called the machine that you put when they're doing the ultrasound, but I did a voice memo of the heartbeat playing out of the machine. And that's the same one when he was like, I don't know, like 3 or 4 months old, or whenever the heartbeat happens. I mean, sorry, I don't know how many weeks into it was, at least after 25, but point being that
right.
when we went to do the ultrasound together, I think we knew he was a boy at that point, but we might have not even known. Hearing that heartbeat, like I voice memoed it, and I was like, this is going to go into a song. And I didn't know which one, but like that happened. That's his heartbeat. Then my dad takes it over. My son's middle name is my dad's first name. So he's, because I wanted to name him after my grandfather, and then his middle name is my dad's first name. So even like those things are connected, and the fact that the heartbeat is transitions into the congas, and then the song's lyrics are so much about like my life and the places that I want to be and the places I hope to get to, but also how much being a father has just been such a beautiful thing and has really changed my world and changed my life. Like even that's connected. It was super cool. And the arrangement, my friend that wrote the arrangement to the song, that's our second collaboration. Our first one was back in 2019 was the first time we made a song together. And that was the only time we made a song together. And when I was making this project, it was really important to me that him and I collaborated in some way. So like being able to collab with Mike again, just like you said, like all of the pieces just like have meaning, but they're all like interconnected, and it's cool to like be able to share so many of those things, but to know so many of those things people will never know about, but to me they have meaning and value. It's cool.
Yeah, and that was the cool thing I didn't know but until I got your notes on the footage that I recorded, and you're like, "All right, Dad on the congas," and I was like, "Oh, that was his dad. Oh, that's awesome." I just saw, oh, congas, and then the part that spoke to me was one. I was a bass player for a while, but I started off musically with the saxophone, and to
Oh,
hear the saxophone, the trumpet, the trombone, everybody just when we have the one part in the video with you were spinning, we were both spinning around together.
yeah.
And it's just such a nice, you see everybody involved, and it feels like the song. It's just this giant whirlwind. And when you listen to the music and you take all of that into account, I think even the music video comes out very much along the same lines of the goal of the song.
Yeah.
And it's a chaos, but it's a controlled chaos because that dream, you have it. You have your son, you have this brilliant career, you're a teacher, teaching music. I mean, that's something that when you have somebody who is a music nerd and you're able to scratch that music nerdy itch on a daily basis and get to stretch and expand your mind into different ways to evolve your craft. That's where I think this is only like really the first album in a long line of albums for you, because you seem like this is just the start, just like the heartbeat of the song. So glad that's a heartbeat. I was wondering what that was too. I was like,
Yeah.
okay, that makes sense. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Like you said, like, just having even like the people in the band, like the person who wrote the horn parts and everything, was my friend Mike, and he's the one playing trombone on the record. The saxophone player in the song is a longtime friend of mine. We were roommates in college, and my dad's the conga player. The piano player is a friend of my dad's that we were going to do a concert together where I was playing trombone. That was my primary instrument in college. I played trombone, and we were going to do a concert together, and some things happened that unfortunately we weren't able to, the concert wasn't able to go on. But since meeting him and working with him, I was like, man, I want to have him on a song one day. And this just happened to be like the culmination, and it introduced us together. And I'm so glad that we met, and now good friends, and even other people in the band. There's 4 other people that made up the band, and I had never met any of them before, but now I'm like really good friends with them, and they're super chill guys. So it's really cool. Like, these things just, they happen and they're meant to be, and it really brings groups of people together, which is super cool.
I was recently watching, I got into a kick, especially since I'm kicking up into going into production, from pre-production to production on my movie. One of the things that I've been looking at was some interviews from Rick Rubin about just creativity in the mind of the artist. And, he's saying that it's yes, like I always say, creating things is as close to magic that you can get from a fictional world, because you're physically creating something out of nothing. And it's that the universe wills it. And that's kind of how things turned about, At the beginning, even when I was doing that videography for you, I wasn't all that confident in my skills in videography. I knew I could edit, but being able to evolve your craft along the way, even to this point at the finished product, be able to say, wow, look at this. This is good. This is something that I was able to harness. I was able to harness a little bit of this magic in this bottle and capture it on film. And that's a lot like what music is. We live in this age to where all music is readily available for people to listen to. But when people actually put in the work to create the music that they feel needs to be expressed and needs to be heard, that's the music that usually resonates with people, because you're personal with your message. Your journey is going to relate to other people. So you're not just trying to make a poppy song, you're trying to make your song. And I think that's what really brings out in your music.
If it's all about authenticity, I feel like when people make music that's inauthentic, it comes and it goes. You hear it and you're like, okay, this was good, but there's no, you can't feel the soul in it. You can't feel the spirit in it. Like when you can feel those things inside of a song, it makes you go back to them and it makes you want to listen again and again. And that's what's really important about like all of the music that I've made. CEO, this album with Big Dreams on it, is my third album now. The first one was in 21. I released a second album in May of 2023, and then a second album that year in October, this one. And I noticed that the songs that always resonate the most with people are the ones where I'm not necessarily being vulnerable in a sad way, but that I'm really just opening up kind of my heart and just talking about real experiences that I've had, and just making music that's truly about me. You know, I'm Hispanic as well, so that Big Dream song is a salsa, funk, and rap fusion. Salsa being the music that I grew up listening to, that my dad listens to exclusively, like, and he plays that music, and I love dancing it and listening to it, and being able to, that song just one, but all the other songs on the album, just being able to feel like I'm always pushing myself to bring myself to the table. Whenever I sit down to write a song, it's always about real things, and not real as in like, real and fake, but just experiences that I've had,
Yeah.
and ways that I can share that with people. That my goal with the music is to make people, not to make, but to invite people to experience the motions and kind of live through stories, that not to live my stories, but so that they can relate to the stories that happen in their own lives.
Yeah.
Big Dreams is such a hype song. I want people to listen to that song and be like, man, like I have big dreams too. I'm super hyped to go get them. Like that's the point. Like, the next song is Synergy to Italy, and I have a problem like sitting down and relaxing. It's hard for me to, when I sit down to relax, my mind is thinking about a project. It's like, oh man, like I'm sitting right now, but I should be recording, I should be mixing, I should be writing another song. Like that song is about how I can't relax, and hopefully someone listens to that. It's like, man, like, yeah, like let's go get it, like I'm so hyped right now. Or the inverse. It's like, man, I've been relaxing too much. I gotta get off my butt right now.
Yeah.
But all the songs, like in the project, or in all the songs that I release, I feel like that's why I've been able to kind of sustain myself within my own creativity. It's because I'm always pushing myself, like in my life. I want to be able to figure out, okay, how can I be a better person? How can I be a better husband? How can I be a better father, a brother, a son, a sister? I mean, not sister, a brother to my sister. All those things, trying to figure out like, how can I push myself to be better, but also how can I push myself to be better musically. I've never brought in a full band to record. Well, actually, I have. That was the first time in like 5 years that I had brought in a full band to record a song. And the rest of that project too has just so many components of it, just so many collaborations and things like that, that I was like, no, like this is how I want to push myself. I want to make an album that all of the songs are almost from different genres.
Yeah.
Like the first one's salsa funk, the next one is like UK drill, the next one's bossa nova, and it goes and it goes. And that's how I'm able to continue to push myself creatively, like you said, just like being able to take a blank canvas and bring myself to the table and be able to do that. And I love doing it. And like I said, like that's what is fulfilling for me, but also when I hear the experiences that people have listening to the music, that's always what resonates the most, is the fact that, wow, like I can really connect to the story because it's real life.
Well, when I went on the script for Tales, or not Tales, that's the podcast we're on now, Tales of the Hunt. When I went on, this is unscripted, by the way. When I went in on the script for the Time Capsule, my movie, I put on your album. And that's one of the things I've told as many times on this podcast is when I get down to write, I put on music. When I wrote the side story for Frank's comic, Reba the Hunted, Chronicles of the Hunted, the first song I put on was Wu-Tang Clan, Protect Your Neck, and let YouTube take it from there. So music connects to me when I'm getting creative. Like that opens the door for me to talk to the muse. Like, all right, bitch, come on. We got work to do. Let's go chop chop. So when sitting down on your music, especially starting off at big dreams and going down, that was helping me type away. Maybe when you get to a part in the movie, you're not going to claim, all right, that wasn't you. You'll know what I'm talking about when you see it, but a little skull-coated scene. But there's a part that I wanted to circle back here, and it's the blank canvas. And it's what really, it steers a lot of people away from being artistic. whether it's drawing or music or writing, there's always a blank piece of paper or digital paper in front of you that you have to fill. And what is the thing that do you just start writing down on the go, just off the top of your head? Or are you just, I need to sit and find a concept that I want to go through on this page?
Every song is different. One of the things, like, through all of my songs, what I enjoy about, like, reflecting on the music that I've made in the past is all of the songs are very different. Like, there's infrequent that you put two songs together and you're like, yeah, these songs sound exactly the same. I try and make them all sound different. And that outcome is kind of the same way that I go into the song. They all come in different ways. You know, when I first started writing songs, I had all of my lyrics written, and then I would find beats that would match the lyrics. And once they synchronized, I was like, yeah, this feels right. This is the one. But as I started to continue to evolve, then I would play beats and I would freestyle. I love freestyling. So I would freestyle over different beats and find the vibe that the music pulled out of me. Like, the music had a vibe to it, and it would pull different lyrics out of me as I was freestyling. And maybe 15% of my songs are made that way. Sometimes it's the opposite. Sometimes I make a beat, or not the opposite, but I'll make a beat, and then I'll play the beat, and then I'll write lyrics that match it, or I'll make a song, and then I'll have to make a beat that sounds like what I was feeling when I wrote it. So they're all so different. Sometimes, more often nowadays that I'm driving to and from work, I'm driving to work, and an idea just comes into my mind, and for that reason, I had so many times that I was just like, had these ideas. I have the voice memos app always queued up on my phone, and I'm just driving and I have like an idea. I have a chorus that comes into my mind, or a song concept that comes into my mind. I go on, I voice memo it, I sing or rap it out or whatever it is, and then I come back to it later. I come home from work, I open it up, like, oh, cool. This is kind of where I was at with this idea. How can I evolve on it? And all the songs come out in different ways, but like you were saying, like, sometimes the blank canvas kind of stirs people away, and, like, just like that fear of being wrong, a fear of putting something on the canvas that isn't good. But part of the music making process, and the process of creativity in general, is being able to understand that it might be bad, and that's okay. Just
Yeah.
putting something out there. Okay, cool. Let's say you have a notebook, and the first page that you wrote are lyrics, and you're like, man, these lyrics are whack. You can just ball it up and throw it away. And the more that happens, eventually you start to dig to the gold, and you start to write with your strengths, and you find out the things that work for you, and then the things that don't work for you, you stop using them. And that blank canvas becomes, okay, cool. How am I going to approach this? Sometimes, like, I'll have the colors in my mind first. I know what the sonic of the song wants to be like. I want this to be an aggressive song. And then I start with the drums, or I'll start with the loop, or I'll start with the chorus, or I'll start with the verse. It all really depends on the song, but it's all about being open to letting different ideas come out, and not being afraid of being like, man, I always start with the lyrics. I don't want to listen to the instrumentals, or I always freestyle off of instrumentals. I'm nervous to write a song that has no structure because there's no beat. But it's all about being able to let the inspiration take you, and being able to not be afraid of what's going to come out at the end, because good or bad, it always takes you to where you're going to be.
Exactly. Yeah, it's true.
That's the main thing, and you got to keep doing it. A lot of things with a lot of things that happen with just, being creative in general, is that you do get that, that self-consciousness that you want to, no, this isn't good enough. But when you do put it out there, I think one of the things that stops people is the criticism, which is one thing that you really can't let stop you, especially online, because when it comes thick and heavy. You got to have at least a kind of wherewithal for your mind when you're going into this, is that, yes, you're being expressionistic of yourself. You're adding yourself into what you do artistically, but you also can't really pay attention to everybody else,
True. A lot of people will just comment on your stuff, just negative stuff, just to comment negative stuff.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, well, if that's what you're doing with your Friday afternoon, then I'm here making music. I don't need to worry about that anymore.
Yeah. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, exactly. It's tough to do. You know, you especially in the beginning, like you get positive feedback and you get negative feedback, and it's hard not to take that negative feedback to heart. But if you can kind of if you're getting constructive criticism from a friend or somebody that you trust, then you can use that to grow, because the first song that you make is probably not going to be the best song. The first artwork that you make or the first video that you make, like it's probably not going to be the best one that you do. But people from the outside can be more objective slash subjective about what they're seeing. And if they're genuine about it, they can give you perks that you can take, you know. They're in the beginning, excuse me, I was one of my feedbacks was about my flow, and it was like, okay, like you have really great lyrics, but sometimes it's the flow is inconsistent. And I was like, okay, cool. Like at first that was a bummer, but then I was like, no, like I want to be really great at this. I want to be good at this. Not, and I just want to be great at it for myself. So how can I work on this? And all of the songs that I made out after, I made sure that the flow was improved. And I was like, in my recording, I rehearsed for longer. When I was recording or when I was writing, I was paying more attention to the amount of syllables in this line versus the amount of syllables in the next line. And it was finding a way to, okay, cool, this was genuine constructive feedback that people gave me. And it wasn't just people on YouTube comments being like, this is whack, and then they scroll to the next YouTube shorts. You ignore that nonsense. Like the people aren't, they have nothing better to do. But when people are actually giving you comments, like I get feedback even today, you know, I'll post an Instagram reel and someone will give me genuine feedback. They'll be like, man, I love the lyrics, but blah 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 blah. And I'm like, oh, cool. Let me see what I can discern from that. Like take it in. Okay. Do I feel like it's true? Do I feel like it's not true? Okay, cool. That's great feedback, and I'll keep it in mind for the next one.
Oh yeah, it's you do have to filter through it, which is, you know, having somebody that you trust to be like, no, that don't listen to that one. That's also, you know, you got to have that core, you know, support with you, especially when you're doing anything with, you know, life. I would say I wouldn't even just stricken it to art in that aspect, but having a core, solid family behind you, pushing you forward, knowing that what you're doing it means everything to you, having them behind you push you forward, not giving you any leeway to slack off and say, no, I do have to get back on my shit. You know, that adds something to the just the grind of it all that uplifts
Absolutely.
you.
Yeah, like having that support system is everything, you know, even if it's just for support, period. You know, like being able to send my music in my family group chat or send it to my friends and they're like, yo, I love this. Like it means the world. And I'm sure, you know, you experience that all the time with all the projects that you've been involved in. Just being able to share that with somebody that says, this is awesome. It keeps you going.
It does, you know. I mean, just being able to share anything out there and you get the comments in there. This is amazing, you know. Even in podcasting, it's usually you just see the numbers and you're just like, wow, oh, that's nice. Who are those 5 people? Man, they're really cool. But
Yeah.
in even just when you go out and just hearing people thank you, like, man, I love what you do. Thank you. That is something that really just fuels the fire. It's not why you really go out there, but hearing the positive feedback come in is probably going to be a standard practice if I had to estimate for you in the future.
Oh yeah, I hope so. I've really enjoyed being able to just connect with people, you know, and just being able to. One of my goals for this year is to do more shows. So I've been able to share my music with a lot of people, just sending it through message, and then we talk on the phone like, oh, yo, that was awesome, or what did you think? Oh, whatever, and then or seeing people in person. Like I had a bunch of friends over last week, and I shared with them something that I was working on, and it was cool that they were all here like, yo, that was sick, and I was like, yo, thank you, like that was awesome. So that was super fun, but I'm excited to hopefully do more live shows this year and being able to, like you said, connect with people in person and being able to have that experience in person where, yeah, you came here to just listen to some art, just listen to some music, and hopefully you like it. And at the end being like, well, people that resonated with somebody.
Yeah.
That's all that matters.
Well, and I think especially after COVID, now people want to go out to those live shows. They want to go out and see, hey, there's a show on, you know, a Monday night at this time. They got a band going. You want to go see it? It's giving somebody the excuse to get out of the house, which nobody finds, you know, having a problem with it these days after you got stuck in there for over 3 months, for some, 3 months on the low side for some. But That's why live gigs it's kind of the perfect mix of storms of all these people who are taking their passions off of this time and actually focusing their efforts in on it. Yeah, this is the time going out there, especially musically. Being able to say, I have these dates coming up and you can see me here, that,
Yeah.
especially in Delco, draws people in to make you, oh man, there are these shows everybody goes to. You're creating, especially with your music, a sound that is original that people will instantly draw into.
Yeah, I hope to do more, and I hope to do more shows and just be able to, um, like you said, just connect with people in that way, and make more music, and be able to also be able to be like, wow, like what really makes people get out of their seat and want to dance, and make more songs like that, you know,
Yeah.
or like the songs, like what parts of the songs, like, because there's a song, the third song on the album, Supernova. It's like it starts off like really nice, really happy, and then it goes into like probably like one of the most vulnerable verses that I've ever written. And being able to, people say that between that and Big Dreams are their favorite songs on the album.
Yeah.
And
I was
not that
about to say that's my second. I love that song.
appreciate that. And it's funny because when you go into an album, like especially when I released my first album, I had no idea what to expect. And I was like, man, like the album is called Boxing with the Devil. It was an album about my walk in faith and how that all of that has grown and things like that. And I was like, man, Boxing with the Devil, song number one on the album, that's definitely going to be everyone's favorite. And to my surprise, it ended up being song number song number 6, and that song was called Blessings. And that song, there's no chorus in that song. That song isn't like the main theme song. And while Boxing with the Devil now has the most listens, that song from those 7 songs, the first one has the most listens because statistically the first song will always have the most listens. Blessings has the second one that has the second most amount of listens. And it's cool to be able to know that that song is like very vulnerable in the project as well. So being able to fast forward to today and know that Supernova is a song that I wrote for my wife that has a very vulnerable section in the middle. People liked listening to that, or something about that resonated with people when they listen to it, is very encouraging to be like, yeah, like, I write music that feels very authentic, but also vulnerable at times to me. And
Froze? We lose you? Oh, there you go. You broke up a little bit there.
about what was the last thing that you had heard?
Basically, your friends getting back to you, encouraging in your work.
Oh, yeah, yeah. So it was that the song on that project was the songs that I write that I feel like, oh man, people might not resonate with this because it's a little not too personal, but like it's too specific, or too vulnerable, but people like those things and it resonates with them, and that's really encouraging.
I mean, it's definitely encouraging when you get the feedback of, especially when you're talking about some of the most vulnerable stuff that you've written, and people giving you that feedback back of like, dude, I love this song. That's one of the things that, it's like a badge of honor that you could just carry around with you. It's not for show, but you hold that in there because, that means the world when you're actually putting yourself out there and you get a little back.
Yeah, agreed. This album, CEO, was the first time that I released a project, and I had friends and family call me and tell me that the album brought them to tears.
But ultimately, are there any other collaborators like that you want to try to work with this year? Somebody that you dream of, just wanting to do a song with?
I have a couple in mind. Are we talking like kind of reach collabs?
You could do both, the reachable and the unreachable.
Okay, I'll start with hmm, start with the reachable. So when I was making CEO, I I was I was on a timeline for this because it was for my Berkeley master's project. That was my big culminating experience to graduate with my master's degree. So I was like, okay, cool. I want to make this an incredibly collaborative project. And I was able to work with like 8 different people on the project, The first song was that I collaborated with my friend Mike and a bunch of musicians on there. Second song, a friend of mine named Ray. He's an incredible producer. He produced the second song on the album. This third song, one of my really close friends from college, Chris Swantek, we worked together, and he plays guitar really, really well. And we were able to make that bossa nova song together. Fourth song, I reached out to my pastor because I knew for this project, I wanted to really incorporate a lot of my faith into the project. And the first song, I'm talking a lot about my dreams, about my son, and how much of a role God has played in all of that for me. And the fourth song is an interlude, which is like, it's called a prayer for work. So it's like when you're going to and from work, being able to listen to something that you can just kind of pray with and be like, man, I don't know what's going to come out of this day, but I want it to be a good one. And I want to be able to be a light to somebody today. And that was that, in that, being able to have that in my heart and be able to see it come through as a really awesome interlude was super cool. And so my pastor was able to work with him on that one. The next one, I made the beat and I recorded it. The next one of my friends from so long, he produced the first third. I recorded my rap vocals over the whole thing, but he made the beat for the first third. Then his younger brother, who we've worked together before, he's such an awesome dude. He made the second third, and then I produced the last third. And then the last song, my wife sings on it. It's her singing. So
Nice.
just that album had so many like collaborators on it. I was like, man, like that was so fun. I want to keep working with people. So my goal for this year is I want to be able to work with more vocalists. You know, all of the songs that I have ever released, my entire discography, besides the outro where my wife sings, and besides the interlude that my pastor does, there's no other vocalist that has ever sung or rapped one of my songs. I've collaborated with a lot of people on the producer side, on the instrumental side, and I love it because I'm able to combine their worlds with my world and be able to make those experiences. But this year, I have a lot of friends that are rappers and singers that I want to work with. Like my friend Ray, he recorded, he made the beats. He's made the beats for a lot of my songs. He's also a rapper. So actually I sent him a song yesterday that I sent him I made the song and I have an open verse in there for him. And he was like, I'm doing it. I have a friend of mine. His name is AGDD. He's a rapper. We go way back. And him and I have a bunch of songs in the vault that I want to release and make new songs with him. So this year is all about just, connecting with more people that I can connect. Thus far, it's been my lyrics collaborating with a lot of different people instrumentally, but I want to be able to share my experiences lyrically and bring someone else's experiences lyrically to the table as well, and make songs like that. So those are two people that I'm really excited to work with this year. There's a rapper from Philadelphia. His name is A-Rob. I have a song of his. I got a feature from him that I'll be releasing this year. So I feel like this year is going to be a lot about collaborating with people that are singers and rappers. I want to have singers come and sing on my songs. I'm not a good singer. Most of my songs, they don't have any singing really. There's only like 3 or 4 songs where I attempt to sing,
Right.
but I want to bring singers on and bring just like their incredible talents to do that. So I'd say those are some people that I'm really excited to work with this year, and kind of the vision for that. And those are projects that we've already started. Just they're going to be coming out later this year.
Nice.
Yeah. But as a reach, there's this artist. He's a rapper from San Diego, but he just moved West Coast, or East Coast now, and his name is John Keith, and I really found out about him 2 years ago, and I'm such a big fan of this guy. Like his music is just really catchy, but just like he's able to sing and rap, and all of the stuff that he does is super cool, and I'm a big fan of his. Last year, his songs have been on my top 5 Spotify rap for 2 years in a row. And he was my second most listened artist this year. And 2 of his songs are in my top 5 most listened songs of the year. So I don't know how I can make that happen. And he just performed they just did the first ever Christian set of at Rolling Loud. And he was one of the rappers that was chosen to be at it. And he's got like 300,000 Spotify monthly listeners.
Oh, wow.
I don't know how in the world like that collaboration could happen. I'm praying it happens, but he's someone that I would really love to work with. Just a big fan of what he does and the way that he's able to bring his authenticity. His music is also really authentic, and I really resonate with that. And he makes music that like just one is just really good songs, but also the more that you sit with it, the more that you can kind of figure, oh wait, that's what this song is about. Like this song's lyrics are actually, really, really introspective or really really meaningful. So he's someone that I would love to work with, but feels more like a reach.
Yeah. But it's worth it to dream and reach, I mean, especially in the age of the internet, you never know. This gets around across his desk and he's like, you know what? Reach out to him. Let's make this collaboration happen. We got a whole year to make a lot more dreams happen.
Yeah, I'm excited. I have a lot of things that I want to do this year. I want to work with. That's actually part of one of my things is I want to release 5 songs this year that have other singers or rappers like vocalists. We'll just group them together with other vocalists featured on the song. That's one of them. I want to do at least one live show, and I want to do more music videos for the songs that I have coming. I don't know if I'll release another album this year. I have a lot of singles in the vault that like between the time that CEO was released or finished writing to the end of the year till December, I recorded like 10 songs. So it's like I don't want they don't group together in a way that I would consider them an album, but I think I'll just release like a pack of 2, a pack of 3 singles here and there.
Yeah.
But I definitely want to release a lot of music this year and just keep on the momentum. I feel like 2024 is a big year of momentum and just like gathering so much like momentum within myself, creatively, but also being able to just like connect with people just like on a social level as well. Just, how you been, like it's stuff like that. So I want to keep on that momentum by releasing a lot of music and collaborating with a lot of people.
I mean, that is a good goal to have. I mean, especially with the live show. I think live shows are going to be one of the things that going on stage and performing, you'll almost get that dopamine rush after you get off a stage, and it's one of the biggest joys of it. Being out there and doing your song and having people bop their head, get up and dance, cheer at the end. That's the goal, but getting out there is the only way that you do it, and being out there, even doing a collaboration live, that would, that's bringing in, but part of collaborating as a musician is a lot like the core foundation of this company. It's to build each other up. We all get better together, and a rising tide lifts all ships. So collaboration, that's one of the things that good musicians and music people have done, for years and years and years, continuing that tradition and going forward and getting more people, and then also educating the next generation of musicians is one of the things entrusted to you. And I think it's in good hands because you have the right kind of outlook on it, especially with music is personal to everyone. So being able to incorporate different kinds of music and different songs and have it all line up into an album is almost a lost art these days. You don't see albums, One of the things I'm doing for my movie, I'm going to have it in a DVD. Why? You don't see DVDs anymore. You don't see extras or bloopers. It's no, here's your movie. Pay me $6. You got 3 days.
Yeah, and that's it. And then that's your experience with that movie lives within those days, and then it's gone. But like you said, like when you're able to like buy a DVD and have something that you take home with you, I feel like it works 2 ways. One, as the consumer, you're like, hey, this is my hard-earned money, and I want to support you because I like what you stand for. I like the kind of art that you create, and I want you to continue creating that art. So I'm going to buy a DVD, whether I have a DVD player or not, and I'm ever going to put it in a DVD player. It's now I can hang this up on my bookshelf.
I got one over there. I got one over there from Cultist Black. They did my first intro,
nice.
and they added me on their thank yous for their album. I have it over there. I don't have a CD player. I have a PlayStation that I could pop it into, but it's like I don't want to scratch the CD.
Yeah.
I got the digital code, so I'm good. I don't want to scratch the CD.
It's the same on both. You don't have to worry.
Are CDs going to be that like almost that new vinyl record?
Man, that's a great question.
I got vinyls, and we got vinyls in the room right over there. My brother got 2 Bill Cosby comedy album vinyls for Christmas.
No way.
You know what I mean?
Oh, that's awesome.
So it's like vinyls are still around, and they're still big. Yes, Frank. the stuff you grew up on is still big.
Yeah, that's a great question. Like I really hope so. It's like when vinyls came around, I was like, it kind of proved to me that history just repeats itself. Like life is often just one big cycle. Like I'm waiting for the day that someone like Kanye or J. Cole or whoever, like a fashion person or like one of the Kardashians, just puts in earbuds that have wires. When they do that, I'm telling you, everyone will like it's gonna change. And I'm telling like it hasn't been, I don't think it's been far enough from that to happen yet, but one of them just needs to do it. They need to first like they're gonna do it, and then everyone's gonna start wearing wired earbuds again. That's how I feel with this. Like it was so long since vinyl. No one even, I saw a thing the other day, a study that I think was like half of the people who own vinyl records don't even own a record player. Like they buy Taylor Swift vinyls or this artist or Mac Miller vinyls or whoever, and they buy these vinyls and they hang them up on the wall. And they're really
Expensive vinyls, by the way.
It just becomes a collector item after that. Yeah.
Like I looked
they're
up
really
an
cool.
old Eminem vinyl. It's like $80, $160. I'm like, whoa. No.
It's super cool. Like I have a couple of vinyls from some of my favorite albums too. But I have record players, but I don't use them that often. The point that I have it is because it's like you said, it's a I don't know the word is like just a gem to have and be able to have in my hands. But I think as we start to move farther from vinyls, I think eventually someone will do a CD run and it'll sell out, and everyone else will be like, "Yo, CDs! I'm gonna start printing them." And people won't have CDs, but they'll want to have CDs on their bookshelf. Maybe it'll be more efficient because they'll take up less space. But eventually, it'll come around. Like history always repeats itself.
Eventually, those big black binders of CDs will come back in.
Yep. Yeah, and like or cassette tape. Some artists tried to start a cassette tape wave. It didn't really work out too well, but maybe one day even that will come back.
Come on, 8-track, let's go.
Yeah, yep. People and so many will just be reliving the glory days.
You know what? But the CDs and the vinyls, I think they're the ones that you're going to see on like maybe 10, 20 years in the future on History Channel. Oh, see, a lot of people don't know. You see this black binder, you could find a lot of gems in here. Let's flip through.
Literally.
And they're like, "What do you have that shiny disc for? What's the point?"
Well, see,
like
this one, they still have the sleeve. There was that little information packet from the inside of the CD. No one kept the little plastic cases. Some people have boxes and boxes, so you got to watch out. You'll just find the sleeve and not the CD.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so crazy. I did for C.E.O. When I was in my master's program, I was studying music production, so mixing and mastering, that's my focus. And then I took a lot of electives in songwriting, and I took a lot of electives in music business because I'm opening up my own business, my own music studio, recording studio, and to showcase in my master's program all of the different elements. I mixed and mastered the album, and I recorded, mixed and mastered the album. That was the production side. The songwriting, I wrote all of the album's lyrics and all of the lyrics before. And then the music business side, I couldn't really start my own business to include with this album. But one of the things that I learned in the music business program was about doing a Kickstarter crowdfunding campaign. And I used that as the part to fund the album. I did a Kickstarter. I was very blessed that it went over the goal, and that was incredible. It went a couple $100 over what I was even just like, this is what we need to make the project. And it was cool because I was able to give people extras. I was able to do more songs in the studio. I was able to just add more features and things like that to it. And one of the rewards for the Kickstarter, if you did the second tier, was you got a CD of the album. And so when I shipped out all the rewards, I was depending on the tier that you did, the amount of things that were in the box, but you got everything from the tier before, and the tier before, the higher that you went. So I did a whole CD pressing, which was the last time I did that, I was like in elementary school when I used to take all of these songs like from iTunes and YouTube and whatever, and burn them to a CD and then put them in my CD player, and on the school bus on the way to school listening to music from my CD player. But it is like 15 years since that point. Now I was here in my living room on my MacBook with one of those external Apple drives and putting blank CDs in, burning my own album, which was a crazy feeling, to burn my own album onto the CD and then ship it out. And like you said, maybe in 10 years, someone will find CEO
Yeah.
and be like, "Yo, I bought this like 20 years ago. That's crazy." And I did it with the sleeve and everything, CD casing. It was super
Yeah.
fun. But one day they'll come back and I'll be ready because I know how to do it now.
There we go. And you know what? It's going to be a collector's item. It's going to be one of those things that people are going to hold on to. And yeah, I have my collectible, you know, a whole bunch of collectibles being sent my way, you know, and it's one of the things that a fan really appreciates is being able to bring back that, you know, that T-shirt or that CD, that poster from their favorite live event that brings it home. And that's what creates a staying power in the fans and, you know, keeps you going. Not that you're going to need any help in that department because you got the right mindset in there, and there's a lot of things that you can go forward in the future from this point that you know, I don't see anything but success.
Appreciate that. I appreciate that. Yeah, it's, you know, like and like you said, you know, just being able to bring something home, it means something for the fan, for the person listening, but also as the person, you know, distributing it, like not to ignore like any endeavor, you know, you got to be able to make money somehow, you know, like musicians need to get paid. That's how they pay their bills, to be able to make more music or pay for more studio time. It's just like a unspoken thing and I feel like a lot about like now in like the independent artist in the independent artist side, because on the label side, you know, there's millions of dollars of a budget just for a single. But on the artist side, some people get afraid to talk about money. But like you said, like when you come home with a T-shirt, you're helping that artist make another song for you. You're helping that person make another album for you. And I remember when I went to one of my first shows, it was what was it? It was a metal show. And I'm not even super into metal. I like it. I think it's great.
Yeah.
But it's not even in my top 5 favorite genres. But I bought a T-shirt from the band that I went to go see, and I still have that shirt. And the band dismantled at this point. They dismantled a couple of years ago, but I'll still go back and listen to that album and listen to that album that they released in that time. And I go back and listen to it and just like listen to the other stuff that they have. But you know, me as a fan of that band, it was like, man, like, yeah, I want to support you guys. I want you guys to make another album, and buying a T-shirt helps you go into the studio and make another album. Then I'm going to do it. Like that's a fair trade to me.
Yeah.
So,
I mean,
and
it's definitely something that you got to take those opportunities when you can to help support your fellow artists. And you know, it's not easy out there, especially with how you look at the music, how the music market has changed. You know, even since we were kids, you had bands making most of their money off their albums, and yeah, they're going on tour, they're selling their merch, but now you don't get that. You get barely anything from this anywhere you put it on the stream. And it's very, you know, company biased right now in the industry. And that's where, you know, going out to the live venues, going out to see those bands, if they have a CD, I think a lot more people now are siding more towards, I want to have some kind of physical media to have and to hold outside of just this streaming service, because we've all been on these streaming platforms and say, hey, where's that thing I love? It's not here anymore.
Yeah.
When it's going to be right in your DVD case, if you have one right there. Oh, no, I got it right here. Well, let's watch it.
Yeah, it'll always
spend
be
another
there.
$6 to rent it.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, like you said, you know, like it, you know, in today's industry, like you said, like most artists and not most, but a lot of artists that are just like releasing their music on Spotify and not doing a lot of shows, you're getting like $10-15 if you get 20,000 streams. That's a lot of streams, you know, but imagine selling 20,000 CDs. You live for, you don't have to do it. You don't have to make another album for 2 years, because at 20,000 CDs at $10 a pop, that's a lot of money, you know, like, and that's great. You know, like there's a philosophy out there for artists that it's 1,000 true fans. If you can get 1,000 true fans who are able to spend, what is it, $100 on you every year. So like with like a T-shirt, a CD, and then let's say you do another T-shirt and CD, that's a 6-figure income, and then you can artists can buy a home and support their family and live comfortably, just off of that. But in the streaming world, if you have 1,000 monthly listeners, you still have to do something either on the side or you have a day job or something like that. It's not an industry right now that supports the streaming era does not support that kind of support for the artist, which is unfortunate. But I see a lot of companies doing what they can to kind of shift that. There's a company called Even Biz, and they let you sell your music straight to consumer. And they go, okay, you put this album out there, and you can say, hey, pay whatever you would like for this album, whatever you think it's worth. So some people that can only pay $5, they pay $5 and they listen to your album, and the artist is extremely grateful. If you can only pay $1 to support the album, you pay $1 in the platform, you get the full album, and that's great. But sometimes some people they're feeling more generous and they're able to do more. And I've seen artists that I've never used this platform myself, but I've seen artists that have someone will pay up to $50 or more for the album because they're like, hey man, I really support what you do. You're really making a big deal, and they can do really well. They sell one album on this Even Biz platform and they can make maybe $2,000 off of the album. And that's really incredible, and it's cool that the industry is, there's companies within the industry that are trying to make that go back and be able to be like, no, like artists should be able to make a living off of their music and be able to do it that way. So it's cool to see that shift happening.
Oh, 100%. It's, it's a good thing to know that the industry is trying to course correct that, because you're not going to have any artists if they can't go out there and do their art. If you can't go out there and sing because you got to go work at Denny's to pay your bills, you're not going to get that, that next Eddie Van Halen. You're not going to get that next brilliant artist because they're stuck at work.
Exactly. Yep. And they're not playing the guitar. They're not practicing because they're at work. Rather, if making music is their job and is their career, then those 8 hours of the day that you would be working on a shift, then you're practicing piano or you're working on your vocals or you're writing really great songs. And you're able to do that because the way that the industry set up, it allows you to, and you're able to support yourself off of the music. And being a musician doesn't have to be part-time to the side when you get off a work thing. And it shouldn't be that way.
No, it shouldn't. You should be able to be it.
It's the way it is. It goes back a long way. Guys worked, and whatever time they had after work, they practiced their craft. That's how it is. Muddy Waters worked in a paper container factory, 9 to 5. But weekends, Friday night, he was doing his thing. So it's kind of a thing, industry. But to me, that's just how it is. You want it, and you'll find those times. You'll find that few minutes to do it. So yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Like so many people that I see, it's like, that's the way that I've been doing it. I'm a music teacher full time. So I teach all day, school day, all week. And then when I get off of school is when I come home and I'm able to get into the booth, or I'm able to write songs, or I'm writing songs on my way home from work to my house because I just gotta go. Like I'm done teaching for the day, and I love teaching. I love it. And I've been a teacher for 4 years now, and I love everything about it. But I also love expressing myself through my own music and having that creative side. So, like you said, if you really want it, you'll find the pockets to go get it. And that, at the end of the day, also differentiates the people who are able to eventually flip it over to the other side and go from working at the paper factory and making music on the side. They practice their craft and they work really hard to the point where their craft is now their main thing. And you're able to, like you said, if you really want it and if you want it bad enough, you can make it happen, even if you have to work throughout the day and then work on it at night. That's what so many people do. That's what I've been doing for a very long time. And my goal isn't to be like a famous Coachella rolling loud artist. That's not my goal and direction personally. But I still hope that as I continue to do this, that it does continue to grow, because I want to still be the best artist and the best musician that I can be. And being able to do that is worth it. Working and then coming home and working again. It's so worth it because I'm making the music that I love.
And it shows because you're ever evolving with your craft, and you're at finding new ways to make that song sound new and sound how you envision it. You know, it's something that not everybody can do because it does involve a lot of work. It's not just handed to you. You have to actively expand yourself and your mind as to how to make this come, get out of here. Otherwise, it's going to drive you crazy. It's the difference between an artist and just somebody who's just happy in another aspect of life. That's not their forte, That's the kind of difference in that person who has that go-getter attitude for this kind of craft.
Yeah, absolutely. It was when I was making the C.E.O. album. That's what I would do is I just start making pockets of time that I didn't feel existed. So I would take my lunch break every single day and I would leave and I would go either just sit in the parking lot or write songs, or other days I would go to a park that's really close to my job. And there was like in like an amphitheater, and I would bring my laptop there and I would just produce over my lunch break. Or if I had an absence, okay, cool. I'm writing a song. What am I going to do? Or before work, I get up early and I'm writing a song. After work, I would go to Starbucks after work and spend like 2-3 hours there just working on the business plan. How was I going to market the album? How was the Kickstarter going to work? I designed all of the parts to all of the merch for the Kickstarter. So on between classes, I would pull it up and I was editing the sticker, or I was editing the t-shirt that I made, or I was fixing something in the mix that I was working on. And you got to be able to make and find the pockets of time, even if you don't feel like they exist. You can make them and you can find them somewhere.
And that's great advice. That's great advice to have there, because that's the only way you're going to get it done. You have to be able to find the time. Everybody can say, "Oh, I don't have the time. I'm so busy." It's so easy to make an excuse for something, but when you realize, like, wait, I did just waste 5 minutes over there scrolling for no reason, doom scrolling.
Yeah.
And I got sucked into TikTok for an hour. So it's really easy to make those excuses and be like, oh my God, it's 9 o'clock. I got to go to bed. What'd you do since you got off of work? Oh, there was a funny show on and I had to watch that. Finding the time. I was, a school photographer, and I was still reading a script because I could pull it up on my phone. Emailed it to myself, and I can go through and read the script that's right in front of me. And you do find the time. Breaking down that excuse is probably one of the first things, because you have to break down excuses, because a lot of people will pop up a barrier in front of us, and it's like, nope, got to go this way. And it's real easy. You got to be able to break down, go through that, road closed. Let me see where the road's closed. And you'll eventually break on through the other side. Not to bring it back to the doors, but I did. Because there's the door. No, we have plenty of time left. Damn Zoom meetings. But it's one of the things that I do always want to highlight different kind of nerdy people, because, one of the definition of a Perjanger is a person or group that love or are infatuated with nerd and geek culture. And the beauty of that definition is that you could be a nerd or a geek about anything. So it doesn't really matter what kind of a nerd or geek you are. You are definitely a Perjanger. And this podcast is just meant to show our fans why they need to hunt you and why they need to find your album, C.E.O., on Spotify now to listen to. And I am going to be adding in here the world premiere of Professor O's music video for Big Dreams. And I like to end off this podcast the same way. I love you. I miss you. And we will see you next time. Until then, game on and enjoy the world premiere. Bye-bye, Wallhangers.
You guys, thank you.
Big dreams of my little man, tall hopes in my shorty hand. Got the gang with me, you should see them groove. 2 left feet, you should see them move. Not sure where I'm going, but I'm on my way. Been down bad, but not today. Got the guys with me, got the vibes with me. You can try to hit me, but you cannot get me. Big dreams, got a couple wants and a lot of needs. Need my family to see their dreams, need shoulder strength to carry them on me. The pressure to be exemplary is self-imposed but a necessity, cause if I want them to have all of their wants, then I need to put this all on me. Wife in my arms and my son on my lap, voice in the band and my dad on the track. God is my compass who drew at the map, and only one piece of the puzzle is rap. Summits to climb, mountains to move, hundreds of dreams and they marching like troops. Big dreams, and I dream lucid when I sleep. Got big dreams of my little man, tall hopes in my shorty hand. Got the gang with me, you should see them groove. 2 left feet, you should see the move. Not sure where I'm going, but I'm on my way. Been down bad, but not today. Got the guys with me, got the vibes with me. You can try to hit me, but you cannot get me. Life was a nightmare, days were a pit. Body was moving, but I was not in it. Going everywhere, but the right way. Shovel in the hand, I was digging my grave. Deep in the trance, hitting the snooze. Gain a moment, but what did I lose? Dios me llamó, correctó mi columna. Me dijo, la vida es afuera, se tumba. Dark emotions and no devotion. My heart was frozen, but in erosion. My life was scary, but I was chosen. I blacked out deep in the ocean. Como saldrá que él es conmigo en el fuego. Eso como yo sé, sueños son del cielo. Mira, got big dreams of my little man, tall hopes in my shorty hand. Got the gang with me, you should see them groove. 2 left feet, you should see them move. Not sure where I'm going, but I'm on my way. Been down bad, but not today. Got the guys with me, got the vibes with me. You can try to hit me, but you cannot get me. Dreamed of being a dad, now I made it. Big shoes to fill, can't be vacant. He's the reason, more fire than ever. Innocent eyes pushing me better. Me depende, vago no puede ser, no puede perder, no puede hacer. Sin el poder, nada suceder. The more that I seek, the more that I find that I am blessed. If my son and wife are healthy, then I cannot be stressed. I had to make a change, I could no longer be depressed. Now I'm dreaming so big. Never could I be bored of this. Through metaphors, we metamorphosis. Mundo bendecida, Lord vida, Cristo mío, la victoria. Dreams we sleep, I hope we live. Big dreams I'm envisioning. Now I tell them all to dream big. Tengo sueños grandes, mi guapo niño, esposa bella, mi cariño, hermanos aquí que Dios te cuidan, pies izquierdos, pero se sirvan, no sé dónde, pero vamos ya, pronto vamos a descansar, mi hermanos aquí, alegría que sí quiero despegarme, no puede darme. Big dreams of my little man, tall hopes, my shorty hand, got the gang with me, you should see them groove. 2 left feet, you should see them move. Not sure where I'm going, but I'm on my way. Been down bad, but not today. Got the guys with me, got the vibes with me. You can try to hit me, but you cannot get me.
Friends.